Change takes time, growth takes work, but showing up every day is progress.
This is the 365 Proof Podcast, where we share real stories, honest conversations, and practical insight from mental health experts, addiction specialists, and people living the message.
If you're looking for guidance, inspiration, or real insight into recovery and purpose, you're in the right place.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the 365 Proof Podcast by Defining Wellness. I am your host, Daniel Phyfer.
And I'm Courtney Milan, co-host. Glad to be here.
And today we are joined by Lee and Tiffany Stringer with Fit Squad. Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, welcome, guys.
Glad to be here.
We have gotten to know them. I've gotten to know them more in the last hour or so touring, but I know y'all know Carly, who works for us. And you know, we've been, very happy to partner with y'all on several things and just support as many veterans and service members as possible. Today we are going to talk about all things Fit Squad. We're going to get Lee as an Army veteran. He's seen some things and, experienced being a service member and coming home and reintegrating back into society. And I'm excited for him to share his passion for helping others that have dealt with the same thing and that continue to go through that and just helping that transition be easier. Tiffany, I just found out, is the only employee. Is that the only actual employee? She's running the show. That's what it sounds like.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, and
Of course
she's a military spouse. We really value her opinion because that is something that we see on our side of the street a lot as well, is supporting families of service members. So, again, thank y'all for being here.
Yeah, it's awesome. We're happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, for sure. So, look, like Lee, like I said, I'd love to start with you, with whatever your comfort level is, and then we'll just let it roll from there.
Yeah. So, thank y'all again for having us, and thank y'all for what y'all do for Fit Squad. I mean, like, supporting all of our events, because every little bit helps, and then it goes towards us, what we do with our many programs with Fit Squad. But as far as me, I enlisted in 2000. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I weighed about $135. It don't look like it now, But I skipped the day of school whenever they give the ASVAB because I was like, I'm never joining the military. And I went to college for a couple of years. Came home, was working at Walmart, and then just an active duty recruiter walks through. And he's like, "Hey, you ever thought about joining the military?" And I was like, I thought he was talking to somebody behind me because I'm like, I had like long hair, man.
Did you look?
Yeah, like long curly hair. I was like, no. And he was like, well, this and this and that. And he starts giving me all these great dreams, travel the world and this and that, right? And this was in 2000. There was nothing going on at the time. And I was like, sure. So I go take the ASVAB and end up doing pretty well. I was going to be a linguist, and I can't imagine, with my accent from Simpson County, speaking at the time, I was like, I'll be speaking Spanish, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, then as we know, a year later, 9/11 happened, so I would end up speaking Farsi or something like that, and I can't even imagine. But
Oh my gosh.
I get there to what the military in processing center, and I'm colorblind. So it goes from every job in the Army to like 5. So I end up going into transportation, all that kind of stuff. But it's worked out great for my career. But then fast forward, I was stationed at Fort Eustis, Virginia. 9/11 happens. We were supposed to actually go to Egypt that day for a training mission for a couple months.
On 9/11?
On 9/11. So, buddy, my squad leader actually calls me, wakes me up, and he's like, hey, you need to turn on the TV. And I'm like, what channel? And he said, it doesn't matter. So, of course, that's, and this is a 25-year anniversary coming up. But so anyway, we didn't go, obviously. And then they stood up a unit for us to, somebody to go to Afghanistan. And we had about 180 people volunteer to go, but it was only 16 slots. So I got chosen to go.
Wow.
And so I was in Afghanistan from June of 2001 to around January of 2002. And it was different. But to this day, I still talk to a lot of the guys, that we deployed with there. Still good friends with a lot of them. Actually, a lot of great stories. We could talk for hours on that trip.
I love hearing
But anyway, I got off active duty, come back to Mississippi, started working full-time for the Army National Guard. And then I've worked full-time for the Mississippi Army National Guard since then. So it's great. I love it. I enlisted as an E1 private, and I made it to Command Sergeant Major. It was the E9, so there's no E10.
Yeah,
so
you made it
right now.
Wow,
Yeah, so
man,
it's been pretty good.
So I'm thinking about you in Walmart right
Me
now.
too. I'm
Yeah.
like, all
Buck-
because
right,
of
yeah.
Walmart
Yeah.
at a random
A
day.
$135 with
Yeah.
curly hair.
Yeah.
When how long tell me about that. Like, I mean, that's a big decision. And how old were you at the time?
I was 22 at the time when I went. I went August of 2000, so I was 22 years old. But man, I hadn't even shaved yet. Like,
Wow.
I was
You're
like,
a late bloomer.
yeah, definitely late bloomer. I did 7 push-ups on my first PT test.
No kidding.
And my drill sergeant was from Hattiesburg. And me being from McGee, every time somebody else got in trouble, I had to do push-ups with them. And he was just like, come on, Mississippi, come on, let's do some. But it paid off because I was doing almost 70 9 weeks later when I graduated basic. So it worked out, that was his way of making me better,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a different time, my deployment in 2002 and 2003 was completely different than 2018 and 19. I mean, in 2002 we lived in a canvas tent with about 10 of us sleeping right on top of each other, and rats run underneath the plywood and no AC. I remember we had if anybody ever got a Snickers or something like that, we had to hang it up in front of one of the officers' AC that he had in his office. We'd tie some rope around it in front of the AC just to try to get it solid enough so you're not just squeezing out chocolate.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot of good times over there. But then you fast forward now, people get hard, buildings to live in, and you got Starbucks and, the worst.
Kidding.
Yeah, the worst trouble I had was if the Starbucks line was too long on the last appointment.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a big transition.
Yeah,
No
but that's also
doubt.
Kuwait. I mean, you go somewhere like Syria, Iraq, or anywhere like that. I mean, it's the shit. I mean, you in the stuff.
Yeah,
it ain't
for
like
sure.
that,
Yeah,
so.
that's what I envisioned.
Yeah.
To this day.
Yeah, Afghanistan was a lot different back then.
Yeah.
So were you sold on it when that recruiter came in Walmart? I mean, were you like, man, there might be something to
Well, I want to
this
be honest
here."
with you. I was making $8.25.
Yeah, you wanted to change your life.
Yeah, and I did, and I wanted to get away from McGee. Man, I was never gonna amount to anything there, man.
Right.
Just small town. I was seeing all my friends that were stuck there, already had like 4 or 5 kids, and living in a van down by the river, and I just didn't want that for my life.
Yeah,
and,
no.
And then, so I enlisted for one reason, and then I stayed for another reason, So
Would you say that the majority of people that do enlist, would you say that's kind of their experiences? They just want to get out of where they're at and change their life, whether it's financially or, I mean.
Well, man, I'll be honest with you. You would think it is, but
That's a good question.
what we have now, and we're going to really get into some stuff.
Yeah,
but
let's do it.
What we have right now with the military, and it's actually a problem, is we're creating is what's called a warrior class. So a lot of the people that enlist in the military now are most likely a dependent of someone else that has already been in the military. So
No
they grow
kidding.
up in that lifestyle.
Okay.
They don't
So
know
you-
anything else.
Yeah, and you end up, like a dad or a mom that was a service member or a grandfather or something, and you end up having the same generation. It's very rare that you see a person that joins the military that no one else has been in the military in their family.
Interesting.
When oddly, it's about 1% of 1 to 3% of our population has ever served in the military.
Right.
So, but there are a lot of folks like that just want to get away.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I remember when we had Jordan on to come talk about Holos and some of the things that he's doing. And we talked about movies and how the movies portray things, and how it's always the young guy or girl who's,
Right.
they just need to get out of their situation and stuff. And what I'm hearing you say now is like these people, it's what they know, it's what they want to do.
Yeah, I mean, so you look at it's also depends on where you live too. I mean, you look at Mississippi,
Right.
It's it's one of the poor states in the country. So a lot of kids they do want to do that here, but then you go somewhere else. It's folks that their parents are served or they've always wanted to be in the military.
Yeah, they want to get their dreams to go to West Point from the age of 5, and I mean, that's interesting.
You talk about the movies, Tiffany. Whenever we first got together, and you'd never dated anybody in the military or anything like that.
I only knew what I saw and believed from the movies. So
yeah, and that was one of the things because what's the
that I didn't get to live on like the army base and get to wear a sundress and me and the wives walk around the neighborhood all day. That's what I was imagining would be my military spouse life.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories right there. Yeah,
I'm sorry you
sundress.
missed that
I know.
I know
Yeah,
it. I
poor
know
thing.
it. Yeah.
Right. So, I just, with everything that's going on in the world right now, I mean, right now there's a lot going on in the Middle East right now.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, so, when you were 22 years old and then 2001 happens, I mean, what's going through your mind?
Man, I got off the C-17 in Kandahar, Afghanistan.
Is that a plane? Sorry.
Yeah, yes, it's
Yeah.
a big plane with jets on it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought that because I'm a Christian. I knew I was saved, but when I got off that plane, I thought I'd died and gone to hell because it was the hottest place I've ever been in my life. And as soon as you get off the plane, you got people yelling at you to get here really, really quick because it's a combat zone. You can have, and we, a lot of the times we were having to do night ops where planes would land at nighttime and they'd take off at nighttime, because if you're on the ground too long, you're a target, that kind of thing.
Right.
Wow.
And then being a kid from, nothing, not having anything didn't matter. So I wasn't too worried about that. I mean, I remember having a water bottle box and an MRE box, and that's what I put my clothes in, and it was fine.
Yeah.
And then, but in that type of environment, you get so close to each other. It's like something I was telling you earlier. When you're on that deployment, that's all you're worried about is that guy to your next and your right and left. You can't think about stuff back at home with spouses and kids. I mean, you do think about it, but if you're distracted by that, something could happen.
Yeah.
It's not like not forgetting to pay your light bill, and then you pay it a couple days later. It's late. I mean, you do your job wrong in that environment, somebody dies.
Right.
So it's definitely different.
I can't imagine.
Here's a big question I wondered before y'all even got here. So as far as like resources for people, and we'll get to the transition coming home and all that, so I don't want to jump too far ahead, but when you were in, was there support like there is now, or is there not this, and I guess I'm saying like mental health wise, or that transition, or even while you're there, you're on a mission. I get it.
That's right.
I
will tell you, it's a lot different now, and I've seen 26 years of transition in that arena with mental health. I remember struggling with some things in Afghanistan, going through some things. I was married at the time. My first wife had an affair while I was overseas. It was, and I went to see a chaplain, but then immediately when you see the chaplain, they're like, okay, we need to talk to your leadership. And I'm like, no, we don't need to do all that.
Yeah.
But they didn't, that was right after 9/11. We hadn't done anything since Desert Storm, and the whole mental health thing was not something that they were paying a lot of attention to.
Yeah.
Now it is night and day different. It's so much better. I've got a chaplain in my battalion that it is incredible. I mean, that's all he does is talk to troops, and he doesn't share anything with leadership unless it's something life-threatening or somebody could be, it's some dangerous situation.
Yeah.
But even after that, now it's okay to speak out about stuff. When you get out of the service, whether you're going to the VA or going through programs like what you guys have, or with Fifth Squad or anything like that, especially with each other, that camaraderie thing with service members, or not even just service members, but first responders, law enforcement, firemen. That camaraderie is like nothing that you can build anywhere else.
Right.
And to be able to have that opens up that mental health stuff, and just like, hey, man, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to talk about it, because if you don't, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That community's got to continue,
and that's one of the things we push real hard with Fifth Squad is that camaraderie. I mean, how we host events every other Thursday night at our headquarters and all that kind of stuff too, because that's how we've gotten a lot of our newest members, is through that camaraderie. Guys that have been out for 10 or 20 years and just missed it,
Man,
Right.
now my wheels are spinning. I'm like, I got to get you out here to talk to our vets.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to.
Because we have, we've got tons of recovery community, but like we talked about earlier, the trauma is unique, and that camaraderie is a different type of camaraderie.
Absolutely.
So, but on our side of the street, like with recovery, like community, if you don't have it, you may make it for a little while.
Right.
I mean, you may make it the whole way.
Yeah.
I don't know, but my experience has been like, man, if I'm trying to do this by myself, it's not going to work out real well.
The happy, joyous, and free comes with
everybody.
Group, with camaraderie. Absolutely.
Man, but we'll talk after.
Yeah, I will tell you, it's so big, and I know we're going to talk about Fifth Squad, but it's so big with what we do that, like, all of our board members and their spouses and our children, all that kind of stuff, man, we go everywhere together.
Y'all are a family.
Yeah, like every Labor Day weekend,
that.
we're taking, like, we're going to down the Gulf Shores this Labor Day and spending the weekend, just the couples, and then
like 25
every
of
time
us
we
go.
go out
Oh,
of trips,
awesome.
like, birthday parties this past weekend. All of our kids are at our other board members. What other nonprofit board members are going to each other's birthday parties?
Yeah, that's a fact.
It's a big family thing. I mean, it's bigger than what Fifth Squad, the nonprofit side, just paying bills or doing that type of thing. It's so much more.
We've wanted to do, and even with first responders too, like we've Carly specifically, we've kind of, and Eric Bowers, who works for me, he's a Purple Heart Special Forces guy. He lives down on the coast. He runs the Wounded Warrior on the Gulf Coast.
Okay,
you may know him.
Yeah.
But, we're like, how can we get, whether it's a support, whatever you want to call it, support group or whatever, but if we collaborated on something,
absolutely,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm so ADD.
But
listeners know.
Yeah.
All right. So talk about coming home from that.
So well, obviously I just told you that first part. So coming home to that was different. Initially it was real numb. You just come home and you just like. Then you expect to go back to work.
Right.
Like nothing happened. Again, the military has learned over the years, like they have yellow ribbon programs and all that type of thing that help service members when they're coming home from deployment to transition back into that civilian life, or if you are active duty, going back to your unit, going to PT tomorrow morning at 5:30 and and all that other kind of stuff that you weren't doing. You were doing everything a lot different overseas. So that's a big thing. My coming home in 2003 was a lot different than my coming home in 2019.
Right.
Yeah.
2019, when I deployed in 2018, my daughter Josie Kate was 6 months old.
Wow.
So coming home a year later, she's only seen me through FaceTime. She didn't want to have anything to do with me.
Yeah.
Right.
So my boys, I could talk to them every day. We played video games online and all that kind of stuff too, and I could text them and FaceTime because they were older. But my little girl, so what I did is I was like, look, everybody go to work, go to school, do whatever you're going to do, but me and my daughter, we're going to just hang out for the next week, just us, and we're going to fight through it together.
Yeah.
And it was not easy.
Yeah, I bet.
But then it just come around, and now she's my best pal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's close. But then going back to work and dealing with family again and friends, because, everybody, as soon as you come home, they're like, oh, come visit with me. I'm like, well, no offense, asshole, but I was just overseas for a year.
I'm going to chill out.
Why don't you come visit me? And I couldn't say that to my mom, of
Exactly.
course, but, I'm thinking it. I'm like, Mom, I mean, you know where I'm at. It's a lot easier
Yeah.
for y'all to come here than it is me to go see everybody else. But
Right.
that's a big thing a lot of people don't see too. But it's the biggest thing is just getting back into, say, for instance, like with Tiffany and I, if I go to a month-long training or something, she's doing everything.
Right.
She's cooking, she's cleaning, she's paying the bills, blah, blah, all this kind of stuff. And then when I come home, I'm jumping back into my roles, and then she's like, well, hold up now. I want you to do this, but we got to figure it out,
Yeah.
Imagine that times of deployment, if you leave that spouse home, dealing with all the kids, going to practices, games, school stuff, and then you come home, and you're expected to just jump right back in, and, hey, dad's home or mom's home, I'm in charge, and like, no, you got to get back into this program with everybody else.
I mean, those
That's
little
an
things
adjustment.
too, like with your spouse. Like, I mean, I think about just like the unsaid responsibilities, like where my wife and I, it's like she's going to do this and I'm going to do this, and it's like when she's been doing everything, and I come home, she's like, hold up, I mean, I could see that because it's like I'm giving them a bath, she's putting their clothes on.
Right.
We're doing this, and so those little things I could see. Like,
Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing that people don't ever talk about, but it's the physical part of a relationship too that people don't think about. I mean, you think about being gone for a year. I'm trying to stand her on her head in the corner and do some crazy stuff. You know what I mean? Right.
You got a lot of pent
But
up
she's like,
energy.
hold up now.
Wait.
We got to work our way back
Wait
into
a
this.
minute.
That's so good. I love it. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So that's just like, you're ready to get back. But it also too, you're like, hey, it's just different.
Yeah,
it
for
definitely
sure.
is. So, and again, in the military, when we tell our troops, hey, I need this done, they start moving.
Right.
Well, your spouse and your kids don't exactly operate that
Right.
way.
They're not get out of bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Right.
Like I'd yell for my sons from their bedroom, and I was like, "Hey, Deke and Asher, come here," and I don't hear anything. And then I'm coming. Well, you didn't say you were coming,
Right.
So I made them a long time ago. I was like, hey, when you hear me say that, I need to hear moving, Daddy.
Yeah.
That way I know I don't have to say it again.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And on the other side, that he has to remember that we're not as soldiers sometimes. You know, get back into the real life
Right.
and how you. So
Yeah.
I mean, I
struggle
even see it
all
with
around.
Eric, who works for us. You know, sometimes like he's conditioned to order.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and follow orders. And so I can tell, and obviously he's been out for a while and, he's done his own work, but, I can see his wheels kind of spin a little bit when he's like, wait, he gets real
Yeah.
confused. He's like, this
Yeah.
is not, what are we talking about? What do
Yeah.
you mean you hadn't done this yet?
Exactly.
like-
I assumed it was done.
Like,
Yeah.
like,
Already.
you didn't put
Yeah.
the dishes in the dishwasher?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I thought we were going to do that. So,
Right.
Yeah,
yeah.
Tiffany,
Yeah.
that's one of the. So with her and I, she has a very free spirit. She's always lived a very good life, like not
Very
like that,
laid
like
back.
Yeah.
very laid back.
Chill.
And then me,
Good
being
balance.
military, and then being a command sergeant major, being the president of Fifth Squad, being a boss at work. And then she's like, "Hey, I'm not one of your employees," and I have to remind
Remember that.
myself,
Right.
like, "Oh, whoa, I got to be a little bit softer here," and
But
I don't
since
always
I
do my
am his
best.
employee,
Yeah,
'cause
well.
he is the
Right.
president. So then I have to remember. I mean, sometimes
That's
he's
a
talking to me on
dynamic.
He
a
is my boss,
professional,
kinda.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
professional level, which is strange. 'Cause,
Right.
Right.
but it was tough when I first started working for Fifth Squad.
Yeah, that
'cause
first year.
Yeah, work
She
never
quit
left the house.
10
Yeah,
times,
it
and
was
I
work all
fired
the
her
time.
11. So
That's hilarious.
We got over those hurdles. So
Yeah.
we
There
made
you
it
go.
through, so,
Transition.
Yeah.
And I'm not, obviously I'm just a dude, but like I'll even, text Summer in like an email format. I'll be like, please advise. And she's like,
acknowledge,
hey,
What?
dude,
acknowledge
I'm
receipt.
going to pick your kids up right now.
Yeah.
So like, we're not going to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Well, I appreciate you sharing all that.
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course.
and so, all right. So tell us, when did the conversation about Fifth Squad start? Because you started it with two other people. that are in the
Three other
Guard.
guys.
Three other
actually,
guys.
yep,
Okay.
yep. So 2016, myself, Michael Collins, Adam Austin, and Zach Moorhead, we're all in the same unit, 184th Expeditionary Sustainment Command out of Hattiesburg at the time. And we were down at drill one weekend at Camp Shelby, and I was about to deploy to go with the 155 ABCT the next year, and Adam was moving to another unit, and Zach was going from the Army to the Air Force, whatever.
Mhm.
And we had our group of guys, and we wanted to just keep that group of guys together. So we were like, because, man, in the military, especially the Guard or the reserves, you get that 1 weekend a month to where you just get to hang out with your buddies, and you don't have to deal with kids. You don't have to deal with spouses. You go do your job all day, and
Right.
then you're going to finish off a lot of gold tops that
Yeah.
night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're telling every lie. You're finally getting released for 2 or 3 days, right?
Yeah.
Well, now you're breaking up that group, and that's one of the things I heard. I've said this several times, but heard the Marine Corps Sergeant Major say something the other day on a podcast talking about how everybody in life finds that core group of friends early on, and maybe your childhood or adults, and then if something happens and it separates, you spend the rest of your life trying to recreate
Mhm.
that group.
Mm-hmm.
And we had that group. I had my group early on, and then we finally recreated that group again. And we're like, all right, well, let's keep this together. So we're like, all right, we're just going to hang out 1 weekend a month outside of drill. And that lasted about 1 month because the spouse was like, no, we're not doing this.
Y'all
shit.
got to stop.
Yeah,
Right.
we're not
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
You can't go away for a weekend after you go away for another weekend for drill.
Yeah.
Right.
So we were kind of talking about it, and we were like, okay, well, how can we make this legit?
Mhm.
And so we were just kind of talking about some things. Well, about that same time, another service member in our unit was struggling with a utility bill or something, I can't recall. And so everybody just kind of passed the hat because they'd gone to other organizations, and while they could have helped, they couldn't help fast enough. The lights are going to be cut off on Monday or something. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of red tape when you're dealing with government agencies. Y'all know y'all are full aware.
For sure.
So everybody passed the hat, we pay the bill. And Adam was like, well, why don't we just start a nonprofit that does that like helps veterans immediately? So we were like, all right, cool. So he helped. He was a lot smarter than us. He passed away in 2020, but we got our 501c3, and then we come up with the idea of Fifth Squad. It's basically that gaggle of troops behind the main formation because we're part of the formation, but not part of the formation.
Right.
Because we don't want the government telling us what we can and can't do and how to restrict us on
Mhm.
serving our fellow veterans. And then, so we started in 2016. We helped a handful of guys and gals just through, random stuff that we did. I remember our first Ruck for Rugrats is one of our major events we do every year in December for Children's Mississippi Hospital. We had about 30 people out there, and we raised about $6,000. Right,
gosh.
man, we were over
like,
the moon.
oh, man.
Dude, we made it.
Yeah.
I remember our shirt. I
great.
designed it on a Word document. Like, I found some clip art and everything. It was awesome. Still got it to this day.
That's awesome.
And then fast forward to last year, our 10th year, we did a ruck in D.C. with 250 soldiers.
Oh, man.
We did a ruck here in Jackson that we do every year, the main one.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, we had about 800 people participate and about $225,000
That's
in one event.
incredible.
Jeez.
Fast forward to 17, we got our 501c3. 18 is when we officially started documenting what we were doing. We're putting on an Excel spreadsheet, man. We didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
And then we started just reining in our bylaws and our programs. We didn't even have a name for any of that program at the time. And then a couple of years ago is when we came up with it's what's called a QRF. In the military, it's a quick reaction force. So it's basically a team that can respond immediately if something happens, right?
To urgent needs.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you've got a unit that's gunned down over here, you got to get to this other country in 72 hours, they call in a QRF.
Okay.
So we have our quick reaction funds. It's our QRF.
Oh, cool.
So
love
we
that.
we love some acronyms in the
Hey,
military.
it's so
Yeah.
it's so
yeah,
funny.
yeah. If you look at our website, you go to our programs, every one of them's got an acronym.
Yeah.
And it can have 5 different meanings also. Who knows?
Yeah.
But so that's when we started and since then we've assisted well over 5,000 veterans with over $500,000 in assistance.
That's
and
incredible.
up until 3 years ago, it was all volunteer, but it had gotten to be so much because if they contacted us and they needed help paying that bill immediately, all of us had full-time jobs.
Yeah, families and
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
And so me and 2 of our guys went to a nonprofit conference, and we're up there with like American Heart Association and I can't even think of who else it was.
$1 million
Yeah.
nonprofit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and then they got thousands of staff, and each one of their staff member has one event that they have to plan for the whole year. Like it's over, and they're like, "Hey, it's great what y'all are doing, but you're going to plateau. You can only do so much.
You're gonna burn out.
So Tiffany and we had just recently married, and she was all in with Fifth Squad. She didn't have a choice. It's just
Yeah.
part of the life.
Yeah.
We actually met at a Fifth Squad event. That's another story. Have to come back for part 2 for that one.
Yeah.
but
That's funny.
we were gonna we wanted to hire somebody that was gonna be with the program forever, right, or the organization.
Yeah.
So we thought about somebody right out of college, but then we couldn't pay them very much, and then I was afraid they were just gonna come along and be gone 2 or 3 years later. And then it's not a job that you can just walk onto
Right.
and learn very easily.
Mm-hmm.
The military, reading military documents, dealing with the Veterans Administration, dealing with social workers, all that kind of stuff is not easy.
No.
And there's so many codes on so many different forms with the military. And Tiffany, she had been in the legal field for about 15 years, paralegal, and we were talked about it, we prayed about it, and she was like, I was like, would this be something you'd be interested in? Because her personality is not one to sit behind a desk and stare at a computer all day.
Right.
Yeah.
And when we ended up hiring Tiffany because we didn't have to pay her very much. And so she worked from home the first year, and then we got us a headquarters and all that other kind of stuff. But by her being our employee, it helps out a lot because we can work together a lot on it. And I'm still full time, so I can help with contacts that I have and things like that. And the first year, like she mentioned, it was rough, because just going back and forth. But it's that same thing in my mind. I'm like, I was first sergeant at the time, and I'm like, I've already told you one time.
Right.
I should not have to tell you again what this number means.
Yeah. Right.
In my mind, I'm thinking that, but in
And
reality,
he voiced it sometimes.
yeah, I did.
too,
I was like,
so.
hey, I just told you what this. I'm sorry, and then I had to remember, like, okay, I've been doing this for 20 plus years.
Right.
This is her first month,
Right.
But now she knows everything there is to know about every kind of code you can imagine, and there's still some things because a DD Form 214.
We're familiar.
That's your statement of service, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it doesn't look the same now as it did in the
bet.
60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Everything's different. So a lot of the veterans we deal with are older veterans, and trying to decipher what this means now versus what it meant then. So that's a challenge. But It's grown to where now we've got like 6 or 7 different programs. I mean, Pack to Purpose is one of our programs. We got 2 veterans hiking the Appalachian Trail right now. We have our Back to Barracks program where we host veterans and supporters. We'd love for y'all to come hang out every other Thursday night. We have food, drinks, cornhole, music, video games, whatever. But it's a great time we got Vietnam veteran eras and Vietnam era veterans, as well as, we got one Marine that just got out a month ago.
No kidding.
So it's a different age gap, but it's everybody can understand each other because they got that commonality.
denominator.
For sure. I mean, we've treated a lot of Persian Gulf or what I mean, we see that too with the different things come with the different generations. For sure.
Yeah.
But when they're together,
it don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you see a lot of groups out there that, and I'm not going to name any of them, but that some of them, they want to know where you served, what your rank was, and all that kind of stuff. And that's a huge thing. That's a huge no with us. All we care is that you honorably serve, because we want our board members to be. Now, you can still come attend events and all that kind of stuff, but if you're going to be on the board, you got to be an honorably served veteran,
right? Just
because that's who we assist as well, too. But I don't care what your rank is. I mean, we've got from the junior enlisted to the highest, some of the highest officer ranks, enlisted ranks, but everybody understands that, but they're still Lee and Daniel. You know what I mean? It's the same. It's no different.
For sure.
But they understand, like, hey, Lee's a command sergeant major, and I'm gonna respect that part of it. But over here, when we taking shots of fireball on the golf course, we talking trash to each other.
For sure.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So it started out. I mean, has it blossomed? With the financial support, like, has it blossomed into? I mean, you call us if you got somebody who may need our help. I mean, have you seen kind of y'all's scope widen? I guess is the way I would say that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, when we first started, we were a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
You needed a light bill pay. We paid that. That was all we could do for you.
Yeah.
And we could only do so many of those a year.
Right.
To where now we can help you with this utility bill, but we can also put you in contact with Work for Warriors to help you get a job. Or we can, if you have some your claims assistance, if you need some assistance getting your veteran's disability up, we have a program with that where we can help you with that free of charge.
Wow.
Because we have other veterans that run that are part of our organization. If you need to go through some therapy, we can put them in contact with you guys.
Yeah.
That it's the partnership that we have with so many other organizations that have. It's like you used the word earlier, the holistic. That's what we want to be. We can't financially support all that, but what we can do is, hey, we can help you with what our primary thing is. Okay, now I'm not going to give you this phone number and say, hey, contact them. I'm going to email them and CC you on it and say, hey, meet Daniel. Let y'all talk. Y'all figure out what y'all got to do to get you where you need to go.
Just a smooth transition.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Instead of having to try to jump through hoops and.
Yep. Yes. I don't want you to. I don't want to, because no one wants to call somebody and then be like, hey, you got the wrong number. Call this number. All right, well, how about you just transfer me that number so I can, I ain't got to worry about that.
Exactly.
Let them know I'm coming.
Man, what I love so much about what y'all are doing that I don't hear when we speak to a lot of these nonprofits that support service members or first responders, just the community piece. I mean, y'all are spending time together.
Oh, absolutely.
Y'all are meeting up. I mean, that right there is, I mean, it's so much more than just helping them with a utility bill. It's so much more than that.
Well, man, I'm gonna tell you, you're supporting what I want to do. Yeah. I want to sell my house and buy a tiny home and buy some land. And buy some land, and all of us could just have our tiny homes on the land, and then we could have this huge building.
A compound?
Yeah. Have this huge building in the middle with like an industrial kitchen and a 50-foot long table where we all have Sunday dinner and everybody rides over on their side. But Tiffany's she's not sold on the tiny home.
Not on the tiny home just yet.
Yeah. Not yet. Common area, but not the tiny home.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. So we love the family community part.
Yeah, that's
I mean, that's
so important.
Yeah. So with your boys, with them being older, I know we're kind of backtracking a little bit. I mean, what was they? I mean, I guess they're not here to speak for themselves, but like having a dad in the military, man. I mean, did they? I mean, that's a unique experience too. Did they?
Yeah, I will say I've got a lot of my friends that have got their sons or daughters have joined the military. mine was different. I tried to, when I got home, I tried to turn that off.
Yeah.
You know, and not me being a soldier or anything like, but I never try to push them to join the military or anything like that. Here recently, my sons have gotten more involved. They do what they've done it 2 summers in a row. The Mississippi National Guard or Mississippi National Guard puts on what's called a kids annual training where dependents can go to Camp Shelby and spend like a week and do all what their parents do, right? Which is really cool. And then so our sons, I never made them go when they were kids, and I kind of regret it a little bit, but they went as junior counselors and they had a blast.
Oh man.
But
Helping the young ones.
they've never like pushed like wanting to join the military or anything like that. My oldest, he's way smarter than I am. He's going to be like some biochemist,
engineer,
or something like that. You know? Now my other son, he's leaning more towards the military because he don't want to go to college. He wants to go to work, and I'm like, well, you can go to work, but you need to let the military help pay for a lot of stuff too. So he's more. And then my daughter, she don't want to have anything to do with sweating or anything like that.
She's a little princess.
Yeah, she's not. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
Yeah.
So Tiffany, for you, like you didn't know what you were getting into, did you?
I had no clue, none.
Yeah.
But I love it. I do.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I get to be part of Fifth Squad now, and like you said, just the family that we've created. But as far as the military as a whole, I only knew what I saw on TV, so I really didn't know much. I had a grandfather and an uncle that served, but they never talked about it. So, I will say there's a different connection with the military. People. I mean, it's not anything I can describe in words. Like I have my people, best friends I grew up with, and all of that. But it's just something different, and they've welcomed me, and now I'm, I'm part of them now.
That's great.
Yes, I've enjoyed. I mean, I asked him if I could join whenever I met him, and I started learning, what all he did and all that, and he told me I'd never make it a day because I'd be late. And so, but I mean, it was tough earlier on when we first got married. He was having to go on longer trainings, and I know those are still, a lot ahead of us. But so, just adjusting to that. But, we made it through, and we'll make it through every time. I know what to expect now, so it's not as hard as it was earlier on.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, when he's gone for a while, coming back, there are some adjustments on getting the little minor, household things in line and stuff. So.
Are you able to kind of be a voice for any, like, do you ever, spouses, do they reach out to you? Like, I mean, what's that experience like?
Well, it's I wouldn't say just they reach out to us for advice or anything like that, but I created a program called Hearts Behind the Barracks. That's another program of Fifth Squad, and that is made up of the spouses of our members. And so we get together and play bunco, and then we'll work on community projects and stuff like that. So we try to do it once a month, depending on the time of year. It's one of our newer programs.
That's important.
That's nice.
I mean, I'm thinking about all these programs and all the people we help, and the families, and because that's a big piece of it is the families too.
It's in my opinion, it's probably the largest piece of it because, I being in my position in the Army National Guard, I'm a command sergeant major over a battalion. So talking to families and talking to my soldiers' parents or spouses and children, that's one of the big parts of my job, right? And one of the things that we always say is like, your soldier is not able to do what they do if they don't have that support system at home. And a perfect example of that is like Tiffany was talking about. I was in California in 2021. We moved out of my apartment, bought a house, and my mom died all while I was in California for that month. And Tiffany and her parents moved us into that house while I was gone.
Wow.
And that's that back home. That's that support.
Right.
That doesn't happen. Now, my father-in-law gives me hell about it all the time because it was on the 3rd floor of the apartment. he's like, you planned this. So,
How convenient.
Yeah, because he every time I go out of town, he cuts the grass. He's like, I really think you do this on purpose.
Yeah, right.
But no, I'm not able to do what I do on a day-to-day basis if I don't have my Tiffany at home or just anybody else, whether you're a female in the military and your husband is home. Then some of the hardest ones are when both parents are in the military because I've had friends that are deployed, the husband and wife deployed, and then the children are with their grandparents or aunt or uncle or something like that. So that family part of all of it is, if not the most, probably the most important part of a service member.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can relate. I know it's different, so I don't want to sound like I'm making similarities to recovery, but I mean, I think about the families when people come to treatment. Absolutely. And the family support. I mean, like we were talking about how we have a gate and we've had people, try to climb the fence and they can walk out the gate and stuff. And it's because they know we're going to call their family and we're going to say, hey, Lee's getting squirrely, we got to hold the line here. We don't want him to die. I mean, it's different, but it's similar. I mean, the community, the family systems,
right.
There's trauma there. I mean, there's so much. And so, I mean, I appreciate you, and truly, I know you probably get told thank you for your service a million times a week, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's look at what we're doing right now because of it. So
I have a friend. Her son served in the military, and if she sees she was in the airport. She goes, "I see a military person. I'm going to buy his lunch. I'll be right back." I went.
Well, I'd be glad you can introduce me. I'll meet her at Chick-fil-A tomorrow.
Is it lunchtime?
Right.
I have to tell you one funny story about that, and she knew it was coming.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So Tiffany loves to, tell people thank you for your service. She loves it, and I love it too, because like she said, she loves it when people tell me that or whatever. But we were at my nephew's high school football game, and we're sitting in the bleachers, and there's this 15-year-old little girl behind me, JROTC.
Oh, man.
In her uniform, right? And I'm talking about hair all crazy, earrings, big old loop earrings, probably. Just, it was obvious to anyone that has ever seen a veteran service member that was not somebody in the military.
Right.
And Tiffany turns around and she goes, "Thank you for your service." Did the whole hand thing too.
I love it.
Yeah.
And the best part was the dad went huh?
I swear I would have done this.
And then the little girl says,
she
was like, "Oh, well, thank you, but I'm in JROTC."
Yeah,
She was like, and of course, Tiffany's like, "Oh, okay," and then just turn around, just starts watching the football game. I was like, "Did you just tell that child thank you for their service?" What?
he's like, "You didn't see the patch on the sleeve?" I was like, "No, I just saw the uniform."
Yeah,
that was
uniform.
You know what? I don't blame you.
No, but it was awesome. I love it. Yeah.
That's
That is
hilarious.
so great.
Thank you for your potential future.
Yeah, that's right.
For your interest.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about all the events, because y'all got some big events. Like, I want us to spend a little bit of time. How, we're going to tag y'all and everything.
Okay, great.
When we put this out,
how to get in touch with y'all.
Yeah, how to get in touch, all that. And obviously when we go to the golf tournaments and stuff, we post all the pictures. But tell us about the events, and then what kind of support do y'all need, and how can y'all be supported?
So the event we do, everything that we do is through partners like you guys, financial support or whatever like that, or events. We do a lot of fundraising events because we have a lot of programs that we have to support, and we don't get any government funding or anything like that because, like I mentioned earlier,
stay away from
we don't want any of that.
If you don't have to, don't do it.
So what that means though is you got to put a lot of work into raising money.
Right.
We've got a lot of great partners like Milwaukee Tool,
those guys,
Ergon,
those
and
guys
folks like that are just huge supporters, like Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, another nonprofit that supports us immensely because they've got 6 chapters in the state of Mississippi. They raise a lot of funds, and then they donate those funds to us, And we work well with a lot of other nonprofits too. But we do a bunch of golf tournaments, like you mentioned. We got the Campbell, which is named after Staff Sergeant Jacob Campbell, one of my close friends that passed away in 2015. We do that golf tournament for him and in honor of him, and it's at Castle Woods. It'll be this year, October 1st. It's a big event. It's huge. Like, we had two veterans parachute in to the driving range last year in the opening ceremony thing. But we're working on a 9/11 climb right now. Like I mentioned earlier, it's the 25th anniversary of 9/11. It's 2,200 steps, 110 floors. So we want to bring in the first responders, have firemen, law enforcement, EMT, veterans, civilians, everybody.
Wow.
We're working on a venue right now. We've been talking to the Mud Monsters. We might potentially do it there, or maybe even Veterans Memorial Stadium in Jackson. Who knows?
Oh,
but we want to do that on September 12th. That'll be a great event. Our biggest event of the year is, like I mentioned, the Ruck for Rugrats. This one is December 12th. Yep, it starts at Veterans Memorial Stadium also. We do a 4-mile ruck, and we drop the toys off at the Children's Mississippi Hospital. We have law enforcement, military, the CVMA again will be there, Jeep clubs, and just kids, grown-ups, military, civilian, it don't matter. So, I mean, we block off 2 miles of road at a time walking. It's rain, shine. I mean,
Christmas.
We're walking.
Yeah. Y'all need to come do it, man. Bring the whole family. You'll love it.
I think Carly might have came last year. I think she sent me some
She did.
pictures. Yeah.
That's great.
And we've never missed a year. Even during COVID, we were the only organization that was able to do anything, because we told them we technically weren't allowed to do it at first, because we said, hey, they're like, hey, it was COVID, we can't do it. And I was like, well, we're coming.
Right.
And we're going to have about 300 or 400 of us.
We're going to be outside.
And we're going to be outside. We'll just drop it all off on the front steps, and then we'll leave. And then so by the time it got towards that time, they're like, okay, they end up letting us do it.
Can't say no to that.
No. I mean, well, you know, it's 90% of what they bring in a year comes from that single event.
No kidding.
Yeah, as far as toys and donations and things.
Wow.
So
90%
shocked us too.
Think about all the stuff they do.
I know, right? I'm telling you, man, we bring truckloads.
I mean,
That's
I mean, you think about 800 people carrying
birthdays, any
toys, and then we
holiday,
have the
these-
truck and trailer, Jeeps full, everything's full of toys. I mean, it's just pallets and pallets of stuff that we haul in there. But we do a lot of events throughout the year. I mean, we'll set up a booth at events. We've got the Hangar Hangout coming up in Madison. Bourbon tasting, if you like. Well, never mind.
Yeah, you know.
Sorry about that.
It's
Yeah.
funny. I got a story. I do have a story in a minute about that. though.
Yeah. So we do that. But honestly, one of our one of our most active members was Joseph. He had got out of the Marines and moved from Texas. Him and his family didn't know a soul here. And he said, I got to be around some other veterans, and came to our Sipping in the Sip event at Cypress Point last year. And I met him. We just started talking. We exchanged numbers. And then now we hung out with him this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. The kids swam together, everything.
At my parents' house.
Her parents' house.
Connected
And that's
we
what
are.
him and his wife both said. Like, if it wasn't for, and he almost didn't come. He went to the wrong place the first time. And he's like, I got to go. He's like, I told my wife and kids I was going to go meet some people. And then, man, he's one of my closest friends now.
That's
but
cool.
because of that. But we do, what else we got?
Well, the other golf tournament, y'all do that?
Yeah,
one
we
every
do the
year, too.
Veterans Cup.
Yeah,
At Bay
Veterans Cup.
Point. That's a two-man scramble or two-person.
Yeah.
That's a big one. We
I
love that
played
one.
in it. It was fun.
Yeah, Bay Point's awesome.
Yeah.
Is
Aaron
this
knows
all
that.
volunteers? that
All
help?
volunteers. Yeah.
And I mean, it's an operation.
Yeah,
Like,
especially the camp. I
obviously,
mean, that
yeah.
one's
I can't wait to come to that.
that's a show. I mean,
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, and that's one of the things I was talking. We met with one of those associations, nonprofits, and I asked her. I was like, you know, she's like, yeah, we have 3 employees, and each one of us put on one event a year. And I'm like,
How?
That's amazing that you're making that kind of money to just do one event a year.
I
And
know.
we do one every 2 or 3 weeks. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And to that same scale, you know, but. And all have full-time jobs doing something else,
Yeah,
you know,
right,
so-
right. You
But
got to have volunteers.
We love it, man. We do. Our volunteers love it. We love on them. We're actually planning on doing a gala
Oh,
in the
good.
spring to recognize our volunteers and
That's
things like that
nice.
too.
Yeah.
So
That's
With us
awesome.
having, 30 members, 31.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, majority of them come with a spouse, like I was saying.
Yeah.
So that's just double the
Yeah.
membership.
Right.
And
but then
That's
a
the
lot of our
one.
friends too, and that they're not served in the military, or veterans, they'll come and volunteer too. But if you are interested in that, we have what we love our website that one of our members built.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pinching pennies around here.
I
you know what
love
I'm
it.
saying?
Hey, you got it. You got
Yeah.
it. You know.
And so Todd, he's one of our board members in our Tennessee chapter, actually. And he built our website. But if you go there, you can find everything you need to know about us. I mean, we've
It's
got
Fifth Squad.
it's 5th-squad.org.
Okay.
Yep. If you type in .com, it'll send you that where
Yeah,
too. So
yeah.
Good.
but we have our auxiliary board on there. We've got our bios for our members. We've got all of our events, and we even have a page that says "Shop with our partners." So, and you know, if I'm not mistaken, you guys, we
Maybe.
have a link to you guys
Yeah, I
on there
think
as
so.
well, to where you can just click on it and it
Yeah, I
takes you
think we got
directly
it
to
on
your
logo.
website.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, of course, we sell merchandise too.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest merchandise. I've designed most of it, but again,
Word
I'm
document.
I'm hella good on some clip art,
Hey,
man.
merch. I
There you
love
go.
that. Word dot
Yeah,
clip
yeah.
art. I
Right.
love that.
Yeah.
Hey,
but-
merch is merch. People love
That's
merch.
right.
And they're, and we love it too. Well, I'm a sticker fanatic, man. We both are. And if I see one of our stickers somewhere or see somebody wearing one of our shirts somewhere, it's a cool feeling,
Of
man.
course.
It really is a
bet.
cool feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
I've
We have
got
our transparency page.
Oh, yeah, that's
also,
one of our
that
favorite
is
things.
important because I don't think a lot of people don't look into that when they are donating money to organizations that we've come across or we've learned. And so I think it's important for anybody to look into who they're giving their money
Yeah,
to. So
exactly.
that's why
Yeah.
we put it out there. 'Cause
Yeah.
we want people to
We
see
put our
where
tax
our
returns.
I like
money,
that.
their
That-
money's
that's-
going.
great.
Page. That's good.
I'm on the board for a nonprofit, and we've been, it's an extended care for women. It's called the McCoy House in Jackson for basically kind of transitional sober living after inpatient treatment. And we have been around for a long time. We've got really good outcomes, all these things, but we just started doing that too, where it's like we get a lot of money. Where's the money going?
that's right.
And like if I'm going to give you $1,000, I'd like to know where it went. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
and so
Who it helped?
taking care of those people too, and showing your appreciation, whether it's an event or a gala for your volunteers, and like showing them what you did, like with their eyes,
Right.
is really, really powerful. So that's good, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that just donate and they're like, I don't know where.
Well,
Right.
everybody works hard for their dollar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Right.
say this. It don't matter whether you're donating to something like the McCoy House or Fifth Squad or PETA. It don't matter.
Yeah.
If you want to know where your money's going, and that's why we put our tax returns on that transparency page, because I want you to see this the percentage of what your dollar is going to go towards program services. This is what it's going towards this.
Yeah.
'Cause there are a lot of them out there, man. That if you look them up on the Secretary of State's website, it would make you very angry to see that they're bringing in that kind of money.
There's a lot of nonprofits that are a lot of profit.
Yeah.
Right.
And we try to keep our program services above 90%. That's our goal.
That's
that's
great.
that's hard to do too when you think about it with staff and a building and
Right.
Utilities and software, all that kind of stuff too. But
Yeah.
we do it. Yeah.
Man. Well, I got a quick Fifth Squad story. So
Okay.
we connected with y'all probably 2.5 years ago, probably for the first time. I think Carly did. And Carly volunteers at the golf tournament. She sits
Okay.
at the
Oh,
table
yeah.
or whatever.
I know where this is
and
going.
and Carly shoots me a text, and she's new. Like, she had just kind of gotten into the field. And Carly's not in recovery, right?
Right.
So she's a normie, is like what we like to call them. A lot of people that work in recovery are in recovery. We don't drink. We can, some of us can be around it. I mean, my wife drinks. I just can't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Carly's normal, we like to say. And Carly's volunteer spot at the first Fifth Squad thing we did was being at the beer tent.
Well, for the record, all the tents are beer tents.
right.
Yeah.
It was not
hilarious.
intentional,
Yeah.
but it was. She shot me a text and she was like, "Daniel, is this okay if all this stuff?" I sent her, I messed with her back. I was like, "Absolutely not." And so then she calls me. I was like, "Hey, it's all good.
It's all good.
Well, we fixed it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
fixed
this
it.
year, yeah,
Somebody's
this
got to
year.
run it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was so funny. But man, that tournament, I met some good people there. I played with one of my best friends, and we played with these other two guys that it's Mississippi. This person? Yeah, I know this person.
Yeah.
Oh, I grew up with his daddy, or
Yeah.
blah blah
Right.
blah. So we had a good time. Y'all put on. Y'all are having fun, and everybody that's participating is having
Yeah.
fun.
That's
you know?
great.
So
Well, y'all know how to throw an event.
Oh, we do.
it's and apparently it didn't even half of what this other one's.
Right.
No, it's not. Yeah,
yeah.
this one we'll have over 100 players out there.
Man,
It's a big deal. Yeah, and we are veterans, so we do like to partake in the adult
Of
beverages.
course.
Yes, as you should.
And I'm a man, so I saw Carly and I was like, well, she's pretty. I'm going to put her on the
Right.
team where she can
We're gonna
talk to
sell
some
more beer
dudes and
over
we
there.
get more donations over there.
Right.
So I'm just going to be honest with you, that's what happened.
That's
and then
so
I was like,
funny.
I didn't really think that part through.
Yeah,
So,
That's
no.
hilarious.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're happy to help, man, however we can. I
yeah,
think,
no, you guys are great, man.
we really appreciate y'all. So
Y'all doing
Last-
good work.
last thing we ask is how are you taking care of yourself today? That's how we like to end everything. What do you do to take care of yourself today?
Well, we've got couch conversation tonight between Tiffany and I, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Okay, can
We
you tell
started
us about
that. We've been trying to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I thought not after the couch conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of the things is when we work together all day dealing with Fifth Squad, we got kids.
Mhm.
Everything in our life revolves around either the military or Fifth Squad for the most part. And something I told to her a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I would like just for an hour once a week for us to just sit down and not talk about nothing else. But we're not talking about any of that stuff. Just only talk about how was your day? What's going on in your life right now? What can I do differently to be a better husband or friend? This type of that thing. So we both been pretty excited about it. We were talking about it a little bit last night and then tonight. So I'm pretty excited about couch conversation tonight.
That's awesome.
That's great.
And
for y'all.
just because
Go ahead.
we tried to do the whole going out to happy hour once a week, and then something always coming got in the way, things like that. And with us, our whole life revolves around everybody else all the time. So that is a great question.
Yeah.
That a lot of people don't. And AC stays on me about that kind of stuff. Honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
He's my guy on that.
Yeah, because it's even from our side, it is, it is exhausting. It can get exhausting.
Yeah.
You're serving others. You're called to do it. You love to do it. It's what you live for. But if you forget to take care of you get lost pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, this morning we got up. I can't give you all the details, but we did get up this morning. What'd I say? No, I wasn't talking about that.
Stop.
I was talking about the OSS. Holy cow, you ready for couch conversation?
I have to cut his mic.
Yeah.
No, one of our I'm sorry, I know we're supposed to end this, but one of our programs, Operation Send Off Support, where we show up and when troops are about to deploy, and we bring snacks and energy drinks, and so we were up at 5:30 this morning going to prepare that, and then immediately ran from that to here, and then I'm going to leave here. Both of us got to go back to work.
Yeah.
And then so it's always something like that. So we got to have that time
for sure.
But you didn't answer your part. That's what I'm excited for.
Is something we're starting today. Also is a stretch we're gonna stretch is really basically what it is.
Yeah.
But he went to see a doctor over headaches he was having, and come to find out, we think it has a lot to do with just needing to be more stretching, and it's all starting in the legs and the so that is something, and I love to stretch. Yeah. And so we are going to start having a stretch.
I'm really
excited. So that's something we'll do. Yeah. So having doing a split in a couple of weeks, never know. But that's something.
Super pumped about that.
We better take care of ourselves. See if it'll help his headaches. So.
Man, y'all been fun. Y'all been good. This has been great. Yeah, I really appreciate y'all coming on. Courtney, you got anything else?
This has been a blast.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
We're looking forward to October 1st.
Yeah.
And we'll, like I said, we'll tag y'all and everything, and we'll spread the good word, and let's just keep helping as many people as we can.
And if there's any veterans that want to connect, or if they need any assistance, they can go through our website, fill out a veterans assistance request, or anybody wants to donate, you can do it there. Also, whatever, man. We'd love to have it.
We'll do it.
Anyway.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Anyway, thank y'all.
All right, guys. Fifth Squad. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
See y'all next time.
Thank you.